It's Dan Moriarty and Derek Deese, the Double D Show here on Sundays on Fox Sports Radio. In this segment, One A Day Men's complete multivitamins that are specifically formulated with more of what matters to you as a man. Right, Deeser? As a man.
That's what they say, as a man.
Brought to you by Bear. Dan Moriarty, Derek Deese.
Or a little man.
Rolling out already. A little man. That's a good cut as we're on the radio here. Joining us right now is the man that allowed Derek Deese to have a big house in Orange County.
Hey. A great man, then.
He's a great man. Former owner of the San Francisco 49ers, and I know a very good friend of my co-host, Derek Deese.
Yes, without a doubt.
It is Eddie Debartolo Jr. Hello, sir. How you doing, man?
I'm fine, Dan. How are you? Hi, Derek. How are you doing?
Hey, what's going on, Mr. D?
Oh, not much. I could use a couple of those vitamins, I'll tell you that.
Is it because it's been a long week or a rough weekend?
No. You know what? It's been a long couple of weeks, but boy, is it hot down here in Florida and humid and stormy. It is. It's been like an oven, but. Yeah, it's been a long couple of weeks, but it's nice to talk to you guys.
When you say a long couple of weeks, too, if people had missed it, there's got to be, as a guy who owned a football team, and you owned the 49ers, and it was a great run when you were all together. My co-host here, of course, was part of that. And when you were asked to come back to the Hall of Fame in Canton, Ohio, and be part of the ceremonies, and one Jerry Rice, the greatest receiver of all time, and you're part of that induction, what's that honor mean to someone like yourself?
Oh, it's an honor that you can't even truthfully put into words. I mean, I've been blessed. This is the fourth person that I've inducted. I inducted Bill, Coach Walsh.
Right.
I inducted Joe, Freddie Dean, and now Jerry. And it's just that's the epitome of our sport. I mean, to see these guys that have excelled in their sport and be part of that is magnificent. The only problem is, and I'm not saying that because Derek's on this show, there are a lot of guys that played for us and a lot of guys that played for a lot of other teams that also should have some consideration for that place in Canton, and they just can't. I mean, they just can't do it.
Now, Mr. D, when you look at the Hall of Fame, and obviously, what you did, and the fact that you've been able to see so many guys from the Niners get into the Hall of Fame, does it ever get your gut going to get back into it and say, hey, look, I did something, and guys give you all the credit. I mean, we went out and we had to play, but I mean, it started at the top and it worked its way down. And when what you were able to do with that team, and then let guys get, be able to feel comfortable playing the game, be able to feel secure and feel, hey, look, we're a part of this thing. Some of these teams are missing that kind of thing. Do you ever think about getting back into it to show guys how to do it?
I have, and I've talked to people, and I to be perfectly honest with you, I've still had some discussions, and some people have approached me. Things are different, Derek. I mean, they're obviously the salary cap, I think, was put in practically because of us.
Right.
And things are different with free agency. You've got the collective bargaining agreement coming up with there could be hopefully there's going to be labor peace, but there's very possible that it won't be. But to get back to what you're saying, can you operate the same way? I don't know. I just did things my way because I didn't want to be an owner that had to negotiate with players. I didn't want to be an owner. I stayed clear of all that. I wanted it to be one big family. I wanted everybody to feel like they belonged. I cared about everybody. And you can still do that now. And I know that there's owners in the league that are trying to do that and that are doing it. And I know Jerry Jones is working at that. He's a friend of mine, and Dan Snyder. But it's got to come from the heart. You just can't say, I'm going to make these guys my buddies and they're going to be part of my family. And I want them to know that. You know this, Derek. It's got to come from someplace.
Yeah, it does. Well, Mr. D, when you look at obviously that situation and maybe not getting into football that way, what are you doing now that keeps you involved in football?
Well, we have a sports marketing and representation business and hospitality. We're really not representing as many athletes as we are doing marketing for them, and it's growing. And it really in the last 6 months has really been growing, and the hospitality end of it and the marketing end of it, I think, has been somewhat exciting. I'm not really totally intimately involved unless they need me. And I've got, Chuck Salino who runs that for me, and there's probably 8 or 10 other people. And like I said, I've had some discussions. I was in Canton. The owners that I know very well that are friends of mine say that, they would love to have me back in the league. I've talked to some league people, and I've talked to some teams. It's different, but you never say never. I said I wasn't going to be back in football, and I didn't want to be back in football. I said this a couple of years ago, and at the same time, I said you never say never, and you still get that little fire inside that you really miss.
Joining us here on Fox Sports Radio, Eddie Debartolo Jr., former San Francisco 49ers owner. Of course, the man who works closely, as you can tell, my co-host speaks highly of him, Mr. D, every time he asks a question. I look at some of your honors, sir, and I know in 2008 you were elected to the Bay Area Sports Hall of Fame. I think you were the first person that didn't compete in a sport to be inducted into that. Then you're in the 49ers Hall of Fame, of course. But something else I didn't know until recently. You were a semifinalist at one time to get into as a contributor into the Hall of Fame itself. Having been there with those 4 men before and helping them, on their day when they're inducted, did you ever sit back and maybe catch your breath saying, wow, I could be here myself as a contributor?
Oh, I guess so, but I don't know if that'll happen. It would be probably the ultimate honor that you could ever expect. I know that Jerry made a couple of comments during his speech, and I was taken back because some of the old timers and some of the Hall of Famers, there was some applause to that statement, which really made me feel good, and I don't know if that'll ever happen. I don't know if it's in the cards, but it would be the greatest honor that you could ever imagine.
I got to tell you one more thing, Eddie, before Deeser here talks to you for one more second. I know you're a Youngstown, Ohio guy, and one of my closest friends in the world is also Youngstown, and I can tell that neighborhood, that city that you guys grew up in, it definitely builds character and builds character for all of you. Am I correct?
Oh, it does. Who is it?
His name is Jeff Rome.
Really?
Yes. Yeah, a very close friend of mine who's a Youngstown guy, has worked for a number of companies. He was with M&M Mars for quite a while. Sure,
I know them. I know that very well, and it does. I mean, I was born and raised there, and it's a tough city, and it's a city that took some hits and with the steel mills and everything, but great place to raise your kids and a great place to come from.
Yeah. Well, Mr. D, I like to say this is, you know what? I've been to the Hall of Fame. I've got to play in the Hall of Fame game, and it still won't be the Hall of Fame until you're inducted into it. And until that happens, it's just another place.
Well, Derek, you've proven yourself. You're a great guy, and you were a great player, even though you went to Southern Cal. And you beat up on my poor Irish every year. You're a dear friend, and I catch you guys every time, and I'm in L.A. a lot, and I catch it's KXPS, isn't it?
Yeah, it's
KLAC.
KLAC.
Yeah, okay. Yeah. And I catch you. I listen to the show when I'm out there. But you're a dear friend, and I really am happy to be on the show.
Hey, Mr. D. Besides beating up on your Irish, my name's Moriarty. He beats me up every single weekend I'm in here.
I'm sure you have to take that too.
He just hates the Irish. That's all
I know, Dan. I know he does.
Eddie, thank you, sir.
You're so welcome, and Derek, you stay well.
I will. Take care.
Okay, my love to your family.
All right, mine are yours too.
That is Eddie Debartolo Jr., former 49ers owner. And I'm telling you, you don't know the smile on my co-host's face right now here in studio. Keep it locked. When we come back, we talk about Bristol. A clean sweep for Kyle Busch. Are you kidding me? The man that no one likes. However, they like him winning. And we'll get some sound from him when we come back. Rob D'Amico from Race Day, next on Fox.